we'll go back to the Big Ten. Michigan 52, Rutgers 17, which was a sluggish first half. First time Michigan was down at the half all year, and then a strong third quarter by the Wolverines. Back to back interceptions. One was a pick six, both by Michael Barrett. Forced three turnovers in the second half, and Michigan coasted after that. Like we said in the preview for this game, you know, try to keep Blake Corum in the garage if you will, and it felt like it was. He still had 20 carries, but it looked like they put more of an emphasis on having Donovan Edwards as the feature back. He had 14 carries. I think he had I know he had a really nice receiving touchdown. Uh, and just another day at the office for Michigan. It was one of those weird night games at Rutgers. The crowd was looked packed. I think I saw it was like 97% full, and Rutgers threw everything they had at Michigan in the first half, and it worked. Michigan gave up a block punt, which I is just the lack of practice because Michigan hasn't had to punt. They had four punts in the whole month of October, so you can just chalk that up as to a lack of practice on that one. And the one downfall is I would like to see McCarthy hit a deep ball. There were a couple that he was close on. There was one that he threw on the money, probably just a little bit too much juice behind it with Andrew to Andrew Anthony that if he should have caught it was right in his hands, but it bounced out. But and the other story is they had 7 red zone trips, 6 touchdowns, and the 5 trips that the first team offense made to the red zone, they got touchdowns out of it. So we saw a little bit more creativity. The first two were not. It was we're just going to run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. And to Rutgers' credit, and in Greg Schiano fashion, that is a very tough nosed team where they're going to punch back. And to their credit, they did. Michigan was able to get in, but overall, I'm not going to complain about a 52-17 road win.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
Dylan,
complain
kind of
about that, you need to reconsider a lot of things.
That's the thing though too is it's like we as us being NDSU fans where there's a lot of times where he goes back to that South Dakota game where NDSU was behind in that first half where they came out a little bit sluggish and then they shut the defense shuts USD out and wins by 3 possessions. It's just one of those things where you're dealing with college kids who you never know what's going to happen. They're in a range of emotions, and at the end of the day, it was just some good adjustments by the coaching staff and just guys realizing like we're not playing up to the Michigan standard. Things got to change, and it did, and it showed where they came out. They got a stop right out of halftime, and then they went down, scored turnover, and after that, the game was over.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dylan, kind of like what we talked about last week. You want to start scoring in the red zone before you play Ohio State, so that way you have some plays and concepts down, and that way you have your groove. You're not trying to find your groove when you're playing Ohio State. And just like what you said, look what Michigan's offense did: 7 possessions, 6 touchdowns. Now they can go back and they can, in their meetings this week when they're going over their red zone tape, they can say, "Hey, we like this, we like this." And then when they play Ohio State, if Jim Knowles gives them a look that maybe they've seen before from Shiano, they're like, "Hey, we're going to circle back to this." So, it was a blowout, it was a win, but it's nice because this coaching staff can still take stuff from this game and use as the year goes forward. So they did exactly what we said they needed to do, and you have to be happy with that because still undefeated, no blemishes on the record here, and I think for the most part they were pretty healthy, right? No one,
Yeah,
no major injuries, nothing like that.
no, well, and they were that was another thing too, which I didn't bring up. They were down 4 starters that didn't even make the
Mhm.
trip, so probably that was could attribute to the slower start maybe, but they got to figure it out.